absent. I'll be filling in for Aaron Washington, the co-chair. Rosemary.
Here.
Michelle Brooks. Not here yet. Jill Satcher.
Close enough.
How do you say it?
Shachter.
All right.
It's okay.
That's what she said.
It's a Bill Shatner, sir?
Check it out. Malake. Aaron.
Aaron.
Angeline Johnson, absent.
Yes, it's one of my favorites.
Stuart Anderson. I could mess that one up too. All right.
Please.
All right. And myself. We have a form. Forms. Anybody want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, or would you like me to do it?
You're a military man.
All right. Still. All right. Repeat after me. Hands to your heart. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Check. Okay, so I want to move to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
Yes.
And no changes, right?
Right. Motion to approve.
All right, anyone gonna second that?
My motion to.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. All right, so that's approved. Okay, next order of business is special public presentations, and we have community outreach worker Carly Hunter. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Carly? All right.
I hear Harley a lot, so Carly is good. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And I don't know that Carly had a presentation, but she was requested to attend and answer questions from the Human Affairs Committee related to the homeless portion of the work program, to get some information and do some fact finding about what she's experiencing out there, and just get some input on what y'all might want to see. And then I believe some people had some follow-up questions regarding the outreach report that gets generated, and wanted some additional information on what causes people to, once they've been housed, go back out onto the street. So
this is pretty much driven by us by asking questions?
mhm.
Okay. You said that we requested her to come here. Is that something that we did in the
Yeah,
meeting
last
that I
week.
was sleeping in?
Yeah.
Last week? Okay. All right.
That I wasn't
All right. Yeah, that you weren't here.
I'm sorry.
So I don't know what questions they're gonna have, but Carly, the question I have is, I know it doesn't take looking at your numbers to see what I see out there. I see people, I see more panhandling. I see a lady out there, a couple ladies out there selling flowers and, looking pretty sad.
Not homeless.
They're not homeless, I'm just saying everybody's leveraging that stuff. Okay. I figured as much, but didn't know. But yeah, we see a lot of it. And also, I don't know, have you heard about people being dumped on Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 7 and 9? I think they got the word that we know, and they changed locations, not by the pier now.
Rosemary, let me know. What is
Not by the
that?
pier.
We have visual confirmation from a business owner down at the pier
Okay.
that a white van, passenger van, pulls
Temporary
into the
plates.
red stop, temporary plates, and they jump out, luggage, backpacks and everything, and scatter down to the beach. And he said it's been every Tuesday and Wednesday night somewhere between 7 and 9.
And they stay, or they get picked up?
We don't know that part, but we haven't seen it
they're
ourselves
delivering.
yet.
Dropping it, they're delivering, yeah.
It's all hearsay right now.
Right.
Okay.
It's what we heard. We haven't seen it yet, and we've staked it out. We've done it like 2 days in a row, Tuesday and Wednesday. I heard another offload happen like along El Camino Real, and this person like with 6 bags, but we didn't see it. So until we get pictures that we can hand off to you
Right.
or the sheriff, so they can see that and try to find out where are they coming from. We understand we have our own homeless to deal with.
Right.
Cities, don't be bringing us yours. I mean, we have enough to deal with on our own, and we don't have places for.
Right,
So.
like you're saying, we'd have to actually see it. I haven't seen it. I know that's a myth that every city has, is that people are dropping people off in their
Right.
city. You know,
Right.
Oceanside, so it's the same thing. I remember when I worked in Laguna, a guy came in and it was too late for him to get into our shelter, so the cops were like, well, I'll just take him to Dana Point. We'll take him to Harbor House. So that was 14 years ago. But I've never, besides that one time when I was working in an emergency shelter in Laguna Beach, have I seen actual cops dump people or vans of people get dumped. I don't
Is this
see
more
that.
like a criminal smuggling operation?
I know.
No, it's not. So what I got
Okay.
is there either it's a mental facility up there where they get their help and their care is done when they're released. There, I even heard about where if they're locked up and they're released, that whatever this van is gathering them from there and driving them down the line. It's not driving them down the line, stop at San Juan,
There's
Saturday,
other
Dana Point.
places.
They just bring them to the line, so either they stay here or they go in the San Diego County. Yeah, right. So they come here. So,
I
but
will
that's what we hear, but we haven't seen it.
I will say that I have, in dealing with some mental health issues and conservatorship issues with some clients recently, that some of our mental health hospitals over in Chino, that when they release them, they just let them out the door. And if there is sometimes transportation, I'm not really who is the transportation, I don't know, but they take them wherever they ask to go. And that's just it. And if there's a van full of people and you have one person that says, I want to go to San Clemente, and then the rest of them that have nowhere else to go say, well, fine, we'll go to San Clemente. It may not be a regular thing, but they definitely are transporting from the mental health hospitals when they release them after any 5150 hold or any other extended hold to just be taken wherever. And so who is providing the transportation, I don't know.
We don't know that yet.
But I do
So
know
they don't
that
have
is
to
happening.
have an address to go to, like
Nope.
a family member,
Nope.
they're just released and.
Let's keep it common sense real. If we had that facility in our city, we're not going to want to just let them out so they can roam our city, right? Maybe I'm not saying we are, but I'm saying that it's in that city's best interest to take them where they say they want to go.
Carly,
You know, so
do you have contact with all of the homeless people in San Clemente?
Do I have contact? Do I have
Yes.
contact with all of them?
I would say no.
I would probably not, but I would say 98% of them.
So
Yeah.
if there was an influx of new people, you would see them.
Yes.
And
Which
so-
honestly, the last January, what month are we in?
2
February?
to 3 weeks.
January, where there were more people that I haven't seen before.
And do
And
you,
that was the first time where I'm like, these are different people.
Mhm.
These
Okay,
are
that's
different,
what we're
like,
hearing.
we're kind of noticing, but go ahead.
and do you know where they come from
No.
when you see them? You know.
I know two people today. The sheriff was talking to me. One guy was from Colorado. One was from Arkansas. Get a lot of Colorados, and I think a lot of people come here for our rehabs sometimes, and
So
then
when
they
that-
flunk out of that, and they're just out and about.
So when that happens and they come from out of state, how do they then become the city's responsibility to then find housing and spend our money and resources now taking care of this person that did come from somewhere else with no ties to San Clemente? At what point do we say, you know,
Well, if they're in the city and they're unhoused, I'm
For any length of time.
I'm gonna help them. I don't care where they really came from, because either way, if they're here and they're unhoused, they need some type of services. If they're from a different place and they don't know, like South County, I can talk to them. Those are my people that I can move along much easier. I can say, hey, there's a shelter in Buena Park. They don't know Buena Park from San Clemente.
Right.
They're from Colorado or they're from wherever. They'll say, yeah, I'll take it, because we've had some cold months.
Right.
And I have people that end up here, and they're my easiest to move out of here. So it's less likely that I'm helping people that are here that have just become our problem. It's more likely that I'm helping consistently the people that have been here before me and have been here homeless for
No service.
5 and more years. Those are the people that are way more consistently out there and everybody gets to see. The new faces come and go a lot quicker.
They
And
do.
that's all beach cities in general. Dana Point has them. I mean, we could, because we have Dana Point contact as an outreach person, and it's like we can talk, hey, have you seen this person? And we can tell which direction they're going because they just kind of cruise through cities. What we're doing that, is we're making it really uncomfortable to land here and be here with no resources. We're making the rocks sharper, the benches not, we're making it uncomfortable, and we're on top of them more, so they want to go somewhere else. So it's easier to move people along that don't have those connections to San Clemente.
And those are the people mostly that come out of rehab? That's what you're saying?
They
Like
come,
those-
or they moved out here with friends and family. I had a woman that just came out here for a guy and then was stuck here, who's now in an apartment, her own apartment in Santa Ana.
So something you said, because there's two thought processes in the city from different groups of people. And one group, if they heard you say make the rock sharper and all that, you're so cold, God's not liking that, it would be a lot of that. So there's two views on that. More so than like making it comfortable, like you said, try to find out where they come from. You ask, how do we even know they're here? I mean, nobody's got a name or tattooed on them that I'm from San Clemente. Half of them don't have IDs.
Right.
And unless you're out there as much as I know some of us are, like I can tell somebody's not from here. I don't remember all their names and stuff, but I know them, they'll talk. Like I was just at North Beach before I came here. All right, I saw 3 new people. They came out of the restroom, one had a needle in his hand. Okay? No, I didn't have my camera out, didn't do that, but we were talking, I had Rosemary with me.
Yeah.
All right, we're out there. You ask, have you talked to them? You have to feel the approach when you talk to them. You don't just go, hey, where are you from? Why are you here? You wait for the opportunity. So when I was out on the beach at the bench, the one guy looked at me and said, hey, how you doing? I said, how you doing? I said, I'm doing fine. I just come to see, all the new faces, in town. I said it kind of like that. He goes, we got some new faces. And then I kind of missed my opportunity to ask where he was from. When he was was that Dennis? Or what was his name?
I forget what he
Oh, anyways, anyways, it's like that. You don't just go asking questions like where you from, because not everybody's homeless. Because she was like, hey, Aaron, what about the one? I said, look, Rosemary,
Yeah.
not everybody's homeless. That one's not homeless.
They're not. They're
All right,
chic. They're bohemian
I'm like,
chic.
you're
The surf
profiling.
bum
I mean,
versus
yeah,
homeless.
this woman
this
right
is-
here has had me
dressed
go out
like
and ask a
Not
guy
homeless,
that
but
was just,
no.
Wait, I did?
yeah.
No way, and he
It's
wasn't homeless.
literally the only non-homeless person I've walked
Exactly,
up to,
so-
reading a book in your little park area. I was just chilling. reading a
Yeah,
book.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
hey, man.
So there's some sensitivity
I don't
to
usually
that.
see a bunch of homeless people reading books. What are you doing? You live here? He's like, he just rattled off his address,
No
and I
way.
was like, oh, shoot.
Oops.
Okay, buddy, I'm sorry. Just, hey, just checking.
Exactly.
I get a
Making
little,
sure you're
I get
getting
a
enough
little
shade here. guys.
heightened sensitivity around Concordia,
We've called a couple, and they've most of them.
Well, my point is, I worry because some of that's going to
Only one
spark
time it's gone up on
conflict,
somebody.
on how you handle it. So.
Can we discuss Care Court that is supposed to be up and running in October?
Stop it.
It hasn't been since
Supposedly-
COVID. Is that it? It hasn't been since COVID.
No, Care Court is
Hold on,
supposed.
is it
it's the
related to what
homeless.
Carly does?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's
is,
homeless.
absolutely.
It's the homeless court.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, and so that is Orange County and Riverside are the first 2 cities that have said that they will have it up and running by October 2023. I see the head shaking. So, I mean, I've discussed it with people in the legal profession and the question of whether it's going to be up and running. The act says that all of them have to be up and running by the end of 2024. But I guess my question is that going to help you, being that it's families, clinicians, meaning any hospital, any doctor, and also first responders, which means our police, our fire, if somebody has, and this is mental illness, drug abuse is not necessarily Care Court, but if we have that
Should be.
mental illness, it should be. It should be, because a lot of them go hand in hand. But if there is, then is that going to give you the ability then to refer some of these people that have been long-standing
Absolutely.
homeless
When that
with mental
was,
health?
when
I
that
can't
was
wait.
brought out, I was like, oh my god, this is
Yeah.
the best thing.
Yeah.
I
that
think
could
so,
possibly
too.
happen. But there's so many liabilities, I think, around it. There's just it's a very tricky.
Yeah.
You know, like who's going to do all the? I mean, but for
Who's going to
me,
do the pleadings? Who's
Right.
going to petition the court?
right? Because
The
I
ACLU
mean, I
is fighting
can.
it, right?
Yeah, I think yeah. I can get people into like homeless court, which is going to be so much easier. Like, but that's an email back and forth. But this is a whole
Yeah.
different thing that could get you know, the city potentially sued, me sued, anybody that's gonna go and say like, hey, you need to go to this and you need to go to that. It's
Do you
gonna
have
be hard,
oral
but I think it'd be
communications
amazing.
here for this?
What's
Is that part, is that on oral written communications, I'm sorry, on your agenda? Is that something that happens at this committee?
We do have, public comments, but he's allowed to chime in.
But
if
not,
everyone-
no, I was-
not for this though, this is a special presentation.
Yeah, but he's allowed.
Well,
I can ask.
Can I take 15 seconds of my 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Just to
Absolutely.
fill in, the problem with Cure Court is it wasn't funded by the governor. So is there gonna be a court? There probably could be. There's no brick and mortar to put the people in. There's no staffing
No
for
place
it.
to put it.
That's the problem. It's a great thing, but it wasn't funded.
It's, yeah, that's.
Well, and
where-
we'll have to
That's my
see
first
what
insight.
happens, because the law's been passed,
Right.
and they're gonna have to figure it out. Now, whether it's up and running in 2023 or 24 or 25, you know, we'll have to figure, I mean, the city's gonna have to figure out an approach to that, because the liability is huge. But the fact that in order to get these, you know, in the past, you'd have to beg and plead to get the public guardian's office, the public defender's office, the doctors and everyone involved to get the full LPS conservatorship. So this is going to be a level below that, that's going to give the opportunity who the person is that does that, and who's that going to bring that before Care Court. When, I'm not going to say if, because I'm going to hope that it's a when, is something we'll have to figure out.
But also, it's like he's saying too, is, okay, where
What
are
do
they
you
gonna
do?
go?
Right.
Where do they go? Because right now,
For a
we don't
year.
have anywhere for them to go.
No,
for
I
a
know.
year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hearing finally about Patton Hospital, which I don't even know where that is, but that's a mental, is that right?
It's in the Inland Empire, and it hasn't been opened in years.
In
It's been
Riverside or something?
San Bernardino.
Oh, wow.
Which, someone just said that they just came out of, couldn't have been Patton.
So they're bringing back mental.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I want to
What
bring it
about
back, but I
the,
would like some,
Be Well
Yeah.
in Irvine, when is that due to be open?
the what?
The Be Well Hospital, mental
said last
hospital,
night.
It's gonna be amazing. I'm not sure. But I
Okay.
know that Orange County Mental Health is.
Has that started, have they started building that?
They're looking, I don't know about building, but I know they're looking for locations.
Oh, I thought there was one
So
in
did I.
Irvine
I thought they
at
had
the
a
Great
location.
Park.
Yeah.
They were putting one there.
I'm,
I just want everybody to know, we've already went 12 minutes. 10 minutes of it was for Carly to present what she did. She opened it to us, so we're using that. And then we have 3 minutes for oral. So keep talking, but I'll let you know.
Carly, tell us what it's like. Okay, you come up to a homeless person. How do you deal with them? Or what are resources are open to you if you find this person?
so, what I'm gonna do is, if it's somebody I've never seen or met
Mhm.
before, I'm usually gonna hopefully have a snack pack with me and some water.
Okay.
That's the best way to kind of approach somebody. If they're sitting down on the ground, I'm gonna kind of come up and sit down a little bit next to them. I don't like to stand over people, and just say, hey, you know, how's it going? What are you up to? I usually, in that first conversation, say, where are you from? Do you have family around here? Do you need help? What can I help you with? Do you know, my first thing goes to family reunification, or is there anybody around that can help you? And what can I do to help you? Do you want to go to a shelter? Do you have any income?
So
I was
now if
putting in
they
a
say they want to
ton
go to a
of-
shelter, then what are your options?
Then I will throw them in on a shelter referral for, because most people won't go too far from here.
Okay.
Usually the ASL in the Canyon, Laguna Beach,
Okay.
or the BHP in Laguna Beach, the other shelter.
Okay.
I'm going to pretty much instantly, if they're on board, I have to put them into my system, HMIS, Homeless Management Information System.
You put them into HMIS. I was
Yes,
gonna ask
that's
that.
it, yeah. And then that's how I do all my case management work too. But
Okay.
and then if they're down for a shelter, I'm going to refer to a shelter.
Okay.
That's worked wonderfully for me for the last, almost 2 years. Just recently, a lot of the shelters that accept our clients are not going to be accepting our clients.
Why is
And
that?
why is that?
Because there's over 800 for just the emergency shelter in Laguna.
Wow.
And
And that's
so-
the waiting list.
That's the waiting list for 30 beds. That could be up to a year each
Okay.
for a person.
Wow.
So it's really just kind of.
Okay.
So now we are, looking at. I mean, we're always looking at different things: Oasis for older adults, or Laura's House, or United Way, or whatever for domestic violence, or whatever it is. So we try to tailor-made it to whatever they need and just try to get them on some kind of list to something. If they have financial means, I'm gonna help them hopefully work up a budget, figure out what we can do. If they have anybody they can share a room with, then we look for housing. But the goal is to get them at least in the system, HMIS system, to eventually hopefully get high enough on it to get a housing voucher.
And what is the percentage that you're able to find shelter for immediately, and what's the time frame on that? Not even housing.
It was really good. During the summer, I was getting like one person in a week, which was amazing. I haven't gotten anyone, nobody's been accepted to a shelter the whole month of January. I didn't get anyone into a shelter.
And you're looking at shelters, you're able to access shelters from all over?
We got Mercy House, we have, there's, Grandma's House of Hope, Grandpa's House of Hope. There's all kinds of different
Yeah.
places. It's just they're all very full.
They're all full.
They're all very full right
Is
now.
that because it's cold, do you think?
That's because it's cold.
So people go
Summertime, I'll have
summertime, they
way
come
better
back in.
luck. Summertime, hopefully they'll open it back up to us. I also do a by names list, which puts any of my like highly, what's the right word? More at risk. My older clients, they're on a by name list, and we case conference them every other Friday.
Okay.
And we talk about them. We give all the case managers and the housing navigators and unhoused agencies in the South Spot, which we're in, will help and throw out different referral ideas and different places that have people,
Okay.
and we can try to move things around. And then on Mondays, I have the match meeting where I try to fight for my clients that are in that list to get a housing voucher. But getting a housing voucher, we always think is a win, but it's really not all the time, because then we still have to find housing, which is hard because the price is crazy. But they keep moving up the price of the voucher. I think it's $22.50 right now for one bedroom. But there's still a lot of struggle in that. And I think there were over 200 vouchers last year that went unused.
Unused.
Yes.
And why
Because
is
they
that?
couldn't
Because they
afford.
couldn't, it wasn't enough to get into a place.
No, it wasn't
So buy the place.
So
wasn't
it's
available.
not that they're putting them in permanent supported housing, they're just giving them money towards
No,
living?
they do both. What we want to do is we always want to match straight to an apartment.
Yes,
That's our match. We
Right.
try to grab that because it's just
Yes.
myself and Troy.
right.
I don't want to be doing
Exactly.
rental applications. But but they do just give out EHV vouchers, emergency shelter vouchers, which is $22.50, and it's a one-bedroom apartment, and then we just have to
You need
try
to
to
find
it.
one.
Yeah, but that's where I go into and refer to Cal Ames,
Terrible.
where they can get a housing navigator, and they can get someone that's going to help pay for their furniture or their first and last month's rent. So there's all those services out there. We just have to match them on a Monday. That's hard because our people aren't that high up. But
What is the high up ranking based on?
length of homelessness, age, vulnerability, disabling condition is huge.
Yes.
So, someone that has any kind of disabling condition, which is mental health usually, which is difficult to get a mentally ill individual to actually say that they're mentally ill and actually go to a doctor and have them sign off on it. But that's a perfect way of getting them quicker help.
What percentage have family that you're able to contact? Not just say, oh yes, my mother lives nearby, but family that you actually have contact information for family members, would you say?
The newer people that come into the city and say, hey, I have, I'm just stuck here, but I have a grandfather will accept me in Colorado. I would say like 80% is correct, and we can call them and they'll say, yeah.
So you have family contact for 80% probably.
Of
roughly.
roughly. And that's of the people that come here and are willing to just kind of say, yeah, I'm stuck. Like, I have family, I just can't get there. Can you help me with transportation? And then we work with FAM to help doing their
Yes.
homeward bound, which we've done that a lot.
But
I use
80%
the
accepting
trains.
back.
A lot of people have family that will accept them back. Most of our exits from the street is to family.
What
Or
about
friends.
the people then the other half that says no, that say no when you offer services and help? Then what is the path there?
She didn't have.
Honestly, that's their prerogative.
Yeah.
Right.
So do
they-
you do follow-up care?
Always.
or refer,
I mean, at least 25 of our 48 regular people are maybe not that high, 25, but I think, how many do we have that were service resistant? I think it was 13. I think it was 13. That were just like, I don't want anything. I'm cool. I appreciate it, but like, I'm great. I like.
Are those 13? Would you consider they have mental health issues? Those 13? Like, I'm getting to the number that we have here that we know, and they've been here a long time, and you're
don't
very
want services.
familiar with them, and they decline services.
I'd say
of
more
those-
drug and alcohol.
Okay,
than
then mental illness.
It's those are the top two.
Okay.
But a lot of people just they like the weather, they like to use, and they don't. But then it gets to a point where they're sick of it.
Yeah.
I have had I've had a guy that I've been working with since day one. Longtime San Clemente resident. His family lives here, and they don't want anything to do with him. And it took me a year and 7 months to get him into his own forest apartment. And he still sleeps out at North.
Is that the one we all know?
Harley got the one to rehab not too long ago.
Got somebody into rehab Monday.
That's great.
Great.
Charlie Street. It's like that. Boom.
That's great.
Yeah. So that was cool.
And then what is the path after that when those days expire?
Hopefully in Charlie Street, which will keep them for a good amount of time. They get sober. They get some help there. They go to a sober living. Is usually supposed to come out of a rehab. Is go to a sober living. Then you're staying in there for a couple months, and then hopefully you get a job doing
Yes.
something. So that's the best. Is if we can get
Yes.
somebody into rehab.
And who pays for the sober living? It's a
Insurance,
nonprofit?
Obamacare.
Really?
Medical.
Medical.
Yeah.
Well, I know
Sometimes, not all the
we
time.
gotta move
That's
on,
for
but I
sure.
wanted to ask real quick, I wanna mention, last night I mentioned at city council meeting that if we had a website, somewhere on the webpage, city webpage, we could click homelessness, where things that you're doing, even if it's just like a little blog, you just letting the city know something that you did, because they gave a good brief last night that a lot of people don't watch city council meeting, and we can't wait for San Clemente Times to come out, and you're doing all this stuff, all this good stuff that they don't really know because they're just seeing all the people arrive, come and go. When you're doing so much, imagine if you weren't doing what you were doing.
You're saying right, like our highlights kind of.
Yeah, no, highlights.
Because I always let my people know here, like, hey, we got this one.
Well,
this
well,
one.
well,
So it's like, I
Sort of like
am.
the
I'm saying
sheriff's
it
water.
doesn't have to be nothing.
I know.
And you
Nothing
have
wrong.
enough on your plate.
I was gonna
but
say, I don't know if I want
No,
to.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Right
You're so
now,
busy. That's what I'm saying. Like I told them, look, teach us how to do it,
Yeah.
and we get whatever you hand us out. What you guys tell us, we'll put it on there.
Because
We
I
don't
think
care
that's
about there.
amazing. Putting somebody in
But
rehab
we
is
need,
such a
because the
big
city's
deal.
always asking, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
All right?
Are we
San Clemente
allowed to
Times
go
ain't coming out with
along?
it enough. All right? You're out there, there's only two of you.
Yeah.
It's only two of you.
San Clemente Times?
Yeah.
Which,
I don't
are we
wanna-
allowed to
I
go
don't wanna
along?
do an
Are
interview.
you allowed to bring one of us, or if anybody wants? I would love to go along with you and do that,
I don't know.
and be
I
able
think
to
it's-
go along.
I think you can do
ride
it with
along
the
sort of,
sheriff.
and
You
just
can do it with
go
the
along.
sheriffs. That
I would
might
do
be
the
the
sheriffs,
wrong
yeah.
impression, right?
Yeah.
Who goes with you? You take someone with you?
I'm usually out by myself, but now we have Troy, who I get to work with on Monday and Tuesday.
So-
and it's awesome.
Because I know we have Troy, but in Dana Point, they don't send Tamara by themselves, by
She has her
herself.
ranger guy
She
out there.
goes with a public works person. And I just was wondering if you would prefer that, because I do kind of think maybe that would help you. You're the good guy, and then while they're storing the private property, the personal property of the person, like it's kind of a good cop, bad cop, but not to use that term, but just, and also for safety for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I like to kind of go out on my own and not have
Yeah.
the
It's
cop
not
behind
as-
me
not as-
or.
They're not going to open
Um,
up to you like
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
And they know me out there. They know that
Yeah.
they can trust me. They know that I'm gonna do whatever I say I'm gonna do, and they know I'm not gonna BS them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, camera right now. So, while it's amazing, like today, I actually had to call my HLO Garcia out. She's awesome to go to a restaurant type of a thing, and that was a situation where I was checking to see if someone had gone inside an abandoned building. And when I'm checking, somebody is coming out of that abandoned building, and having Garcia as backup right away was very key.
Yeah.
As well as having my code compliance guy on his way already.
Yeah.
But I, in my mind, I want to go out there by my, just kind of go out and just be like,
Feel it out.
A regular
feel it out,
person
yeah,
on the-
just like,
Okay.
hey man, like how's it going,
Okay.
and just be kind of.
Makes sense.
And then when I'm with Troy, we do kind of have that. I almost want to say bad cop, good cop.
Yeah.
I come out very just kind of, hey, how's it going? How can I help? And he's like, this is what you need to do. This is what needs to be done. And I'm like, yes, that's true. But like, hey man, let's like, I always just want it to be a warm handoff to wherever we're sending them, or, but I know I have good backup when I need it, if I need it.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, working with Troy makes me feel a little even like I need him with me more, but I don't. But I, yeah, but like he's a big guy, and like and it's like sometimes I will drive past someone and say I don't know about that right now today.
Okay.
But if I have my HLO, I know I can call them and
perfect.
have someone out, or Paul Pye, my code compliance, or any of my code compliance. And park
HLO's
rangers.
homeless liaison officer.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
homeless liaison officer.
What's the main reason people come out of permanent supportive housing? I mean, I would think if they got a house, they'd want to stay.
Man,
Is it? Are
they
they
just they continue to break the rules.
Okay, so they're getting kicked out.
They're getting kicked
They're
out.
not choosing to leave.
No.
They're getting kicked
No,
out. Okay.
they
Is
are.
that
They
pretty
are.
often? Pretty common?
It's really hard to get kicked out
It
of a
is,
permanent
right?
supportive,
There's only
especially if
two
you're.
rules.
Because that means an agency has put everything in to help you, and so they're gonna. I know one of the ones that the Friendship Shelter runs. They'll send people to 3 months of rehab instead of kicking them out. Like, okay, so we're gonna put you in this rehab, finish that program, your place will be there for you. You need to go into College Hospital for 2 months. We'll keep your place for you. It's really when it comes to damaging the property, fighting, breaking things, having the North Beach crew in their house to shower. That's how they get kicked out of PSH.
Okay.
So is that pretty rare?
It's pretty rare,
Pretty rare.
but it does happen.
We
We have a new guy.
3 or 4.
I think right now there's 2 people that just got kicked out of one of our community supportive. That's might be the new faces. No, they were pretty new down. They were down there all the time, anyways. But at North Beach. But not everybody that's down at North Beach is homeless. I do have 6 people down there that are housed.
But they just hang out with that crew,
Yeah, and
which
so
makes
it makes it
worse.
look huge, and it's like I'll be down there and I'm like, yeah, there's only 3 people that are actually homeless here.
No
Could
kidding.
you guys else? Could you go somewhere
Right.
else?
Yeah, did you make new friends?
Yeah.
And then I also heard at nighttime when we've been down where it's like 40 people, they're pulling all the ones from Las Bolsas. Dwayne's buddies, they're all going down and they're partying with him. So it makes it seem so much bigger, right?
Maybe.
Do you have a city credit card, or is that something you'd want us to push for, just for like a bus pass, a train pass? How does that work?
I will do. Usually, I'll go to Ralph's and just buy bus passes, and then the city reimburses me if I use Lyft, which I'm using more regularly. That's a city credit card.
Okay.
But the transportation is really huge when it comes to getting the disabling conditions, or sending people to Lake Elsinore for Set Free, or to Charlie Street, or to Social Security offices. I've done all of that just in the last week.
So you're riding out there, taking them there, and then riding them?
No. I get them a lift.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
don't even know if they're.
No, I know when they
It's all
make
put
it.
on the Lyft driver to
see
be
it.
responsible?
Yeah, they let me know. I know when they make it, and I know when they miss it. Because
Okay.
it charges us now $5.
Oh.
That's good.
And I'm like, gonna get that one back.
Are you doing much with the motor homes, or do you just deal with the people on the street?
I call it RV hunting.
Yeah.
And that I will not do by myself.
Yes,
Right.
good.
They're very
I
dangerous.
don't want, that's dangerous. I think I've told you before.
Oh, yeah.
I knock on doors and big Rottweilers come out, which I love dogs, so I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, ooh. But when I have a ranger to go with me, when I have Troy to go with me, when I have Paul to go with me, our code compliance person, and there's a ton of complaints, what we do usually is we'll knock on a door and ask how we can help them. or it's just if it's someone that we see every day and take pictures of their license plate and send it to code and then send the sheriffs out, the vehicle,
I know OC Tavern, those campers been
But
for 2
the
months.
problem with those
I got pictures of my phone from
the side of the street
yesterday.
they're on, because that side where now there's 3 of them,
It doesn't matter, so.
is that particular part is owned by the business owner behind us. That's his private parking lot there. That's his portion.
So he's okay with it then?
You're talking
what you're
OC
saying?
Tavern?
Yeah, but like over to the side. And the guy who lives in that home is like pretty decent, nice guy. But he's got permission from the owner of the business behind to park there.
Oh.
And so it's not, along the fence here. Now, they don't park along the back fence by the golf course, but there's a section here, and there was one, and now I see a second one and a third one, and that's his area that's tied to his business. So I don't know that there's much you can do about that, is there? I don't think so.
I think that if it's on his property, it's
I'm pretty
usually
sure
up to
it
them
is.
to
Yeah.
take
And he
care
lets
of it.
He lets them.
Yeah,
park
but I
there.
think, are we allowed even on our property? I know I can't put an RV in my property,
Yeah.
Right.
there's still rules
It's a
against that.
5-hour rule.
I was gonna say, I think
Five
There's
$5
rules
hours.
against
So
that,
they could
parking
get
your
around that,
RV
yeah.
in that alley for 2 months, whether he owns it or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
It's
enough of
5-hour
that,
rule,
enough of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you need like more of, or if you're, what would be your dream to help your job be easier? Or is it just
housing?
Yeah.
More shelter beds, and more affordable housing, more permanent supportive housing. I'd be happy with some hotel vouchers right now just because it's so cold. And the amount of people that call me every single day saying, I heard you hand out hotel vouchers. And I'm like, well, nope.
Who does the hotel vouchers?
Sometimes, so usually, just recently we got a couple people in a hotel, and that was because they had medical, they had been seen at Mission Hospital and had medical appointments that needed to follow up with that.
Okay.
So when we talk to someone down in Northeast, they're like, yeah, I was just at, I look at this recluse bite, I got a huge, I had to go to the ER last night. I'm like, ooh, you went to which hospital? And they'll say this one, and I'm like, what do you have to do now? Like, do you have to go to more appointments? Do you have to get this, like, what's going to happen after that? I can call Mission Hospital. We have a really good relationship with the social worker there who can look it up and say, yes, he was in here last night. It states he's homeless. Let me see, and I could say, they don't want to be homeless. Can we get them on, in a hotel? They will call FAM. FAM will call us. We'll do like a 3-way talk about it, whether or not this person's going to move forward, because we don't want to just put somebody in a hotel just to be in a hotel.
Right.
They need to have an actual plan of moving on and into
Exactly.
something, getting into a shelter, getting into something. But it's usually through those. Mission Hospital has the funds. FAM has the funds, and it kind of goes in a little triangle. Same with Mission Hospital also has beds at those shelters that sometimes we can piggyback in on and say, hey, like, this is your client, this is my client. Is there any way we can get them at the top of the list and get that bed?
Through medical.
Yeah, through medical. Medical's easy.
Otherwise,
but
it's just
Mission Hospital's paying over $3,000 a month per bed. So it's
at a hotel or
no, at like the friendship shelter.
Okay.
A lot of people are buying the bed so that they can put their clients in there. So anybody that goes into the emergency room that's homeless can possibly get in and be not homeless through that program, which is pretty amazing.
wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
So that's another one of my bigger ways of getting people.
I just want to talk to you for the next hour.
I know.
Just come back
I actually want to
and
move
keep
this
going.
on.
Aaron Washington
Sorry.
is not
Yeah.
Rick, do you have anything you want to say? Because I'm going to close it out for
Yeah.
us.
I just take my 3 minutes right now, get it out of the way.
Yeah.
You can have 3 minutes. I'll give you 3 minutes later.
I'll address a couple. Number one, Patton Hospital is open right now. It's a 1,200 bed forensic psychiatric hospital. I know it's open because in August of 2022, one of the clinicians was arrested for raping a patient. So I know it's still open. But anyway, 1,200 beds is a lot of beds.
Yeah, it's a
So
lot of
there
beds.
are the RV thing. You have to remember one thing about that makes it really a big challenge is Sheriff Barnes has decided that people that live in RVs should fall under the homeless edict. That's his thing, He says if they're in an RV and they're transient, they're homeless, or we're going to kind of let them fall under Martin versus Boise, which is a challenge for sure. Also, anybody that didn't see, last night at the city council meeting, a lot of things happened, but one really good thing that happened is the homeless update is what the city is doing. Sean Joyce did an incredible job
Yes, he did.
of laying everything out, the Martin versus Boise, what code enforcement does, the challenge they have with getting park rangers, and it was just, if you have a chance to go on YouTube, or we're trying to get them to put just
Watch
that
that.
link up on the
Yeah.
city.
That'd be
Yeah, it's not so much
Because-
you, we know you're busy, but.
Yeah, every citizen should look at this because it really lays out what's going
Yeah.
on, you know, and what the challenges are. It's awesome.
Do you know how far into the meeting that was, so I can go look at it?
It
You know,
was,
Like the last
I
hour.
was there, I wasn't watching
the
it.
meeting
Yeah.
went
About
till
9
about
o'clock at
11,
night.
almost
Around
11:30,
10, maybe
11:15,
10.
so it's probably in the 10
Around
o'clock
nine,
hour.
between 9 and 10.
It's, yeah.
Between 9 and
So they're gonna look to pull that
It's
that
like-
portion
I
out
asked
and
them
link
to
it.
do that,
If you
put
could do
it on
that,
the city
that's
website.
great.
You can,
Because then we can just take
Stuart, it's
that
like
and people
4.5
can
hours
post
in.
it.
it'll be very
It's like
helpful.
4.5 hours in, is that.
So then around 10:30.
Okay.
It was late.
There's a
Later.
written staff report as well that was on the agenda that you could pull up if you wanted
That
to.
has all
Yeah.
that information.
Yeah, the
That's great.
slide, the PowerPoint
13
presentation was
page.
just really outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, you should just, if you can get a chance to see that. The other thing is, before any of you were on the Human Affairs Committee, the Human Affairs Committee and the Public Safety Committee, which I was on, the city council formed a joint homeless subcommittee. 2 members for Butte, it was Tyler Bowden and I can't remember Bill, somebody, I can't remember.
Ranger.
No, no. It was a sane guy. I'm sorry. No, it was I can't remember his name, but an older guy. really
Scratch
good.
that from the record.
Yeah. Leave it on the record. And then there was myself and Gary Walsh from the Public Safety Committee. Gary Walsh, retired fireman,
Yeah.
had worked with legislation. The guy was super smart. And we went out, we worked really hard. We actually started coming back with some shelter options that we could go. And the city council said, you know what, I think we're going to dissolve that. So
He's my law partner.
yeah.
Gary
I mean,
is?
we're
He's my
done.
neighbor.
But I was in, is part of your guys' committee, is there a homeless component?
Yeah.
Is sheltering part of the thing you're supposed to be talking about possibly?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think going forward, and I'm just saying this as a citizen, I've talked to several people in the community that you guys will both know, who was never for shelters in the city, and I was never for a shelter in the city. I'm still not really. I'd love to see it be a county thing. I think they have to spend the money with the county. But there's more of a sentiment towards, why don't we try something temporary in the city? We could get a couple of mobile homes, put them up maybe where the old city hall site is, because they're not using it for anything, and see if we could establish a shelter, that Barnes would say, yes, it's a shelter, showers and whatever, you know, in another mobile home. San Clemente residents first, which is you're allowed to do, and see if it works for 60 days. And I'd really like to try to start getting some support, because Tony Benfield before, now Jay Christian, the guy who was speaking last night from the Behavioral Center, they're all saying the same thing. If we could get a shelter option somehow, we could start enforcing the laws. You would see a huge difference. And these guys aren't BSing. I mean, it's really, really true.
So we can push the other ones out.
It-
Either go in a shelter
If you
or.
can either take the shelter, or you know what, you can't camp overnight. You
Yeah.
can still gather, you know, you can't stop that, but they can't be camping overnight. And you would see so many people either go somewhere else, basically. So it's not part of our component in public safety. They've written that out of it. They don't want us talking about it.
It's
They
just
don't want
suggesting.
public safety professionals to tell you what we need to do to make public safety. That's it. Won't even let Carly come and speak. That's why I came here. I want to hear Carly. I see her passing and it's like, whoa. So anyway, maybe if your committee, I would love to have a couple of you get together, form a subcommittee, do something.
We do have a system.
And we have some citizens that are interested, and I would like to see this investigated.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with that, something like that?
A shelter?
Yeah. Well, that kind of shelter trial.
I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever he says.
No, well,
No, but,
but not a permanent.
I wouldn't
because
even put it
but
on
how
the
did the
spot.
Tent
Yeah.
City
Let
work,
it go.
though?
What's that?
How would City work?
It didn't.
The Tin City didn't, because they never had rules, and as soon as they put in rules, everybody left.
But I'm
And,
not asking.
and it was the location was
But
bad.
other than that, I mean, I think that, I don't want to be unpopular, but, you know, a shelter would be huge.
Mm-hmm.
It would cut down on everything.
Do you think the people
Because
we
they would
have
have to
here
go.
would go in?
Right.
Would they, like Dwayne, would he go in a shelter?
No.
No.
I don't, well, he might.
Let me,
It's cold enough,
If it's
maybe.
in San Clemente,
Can I ask you this? So you're basically saying, even if it's a trial or temporary shelter, that if we get it set up in the city and we can get that done, that will then allow them to enforce all the other laws that we're doing.
As
So I
long
mean,
as there are beds available.
Right.
So there's gotta be.
So that's the problem, we're gonna
Yeah,
get everyone
there's not
coming in here.
No, you're not gonna get
No,
everyone
because
from
like
there.
you said, you can do it where it's
Send
saying
first.
Only.
hence why we're not getting to Laguna Beach. They're going back to their old school,
Oh,
like,
So
I
we
would
could
use the
say
Laguna Beach
San Clemente
model
only, we could say San Clemente only.
first.
you have to have ties to
To
San
fill the
Clemente would be
first
the best.
beds.
Yeah,
But-
that would be.
Like Dwayne doesn't have a tie to San Clemente. He's from Arizona.
No, he's lived there long enough.
but he's
he
lived here
probably
long
has a
enough
He's
for
considered ours now.
consistency.
He is.
I mean, at one point are they considered ours?
Well, that's what
Well,
I was
that's a whole long rigmarole.
Well, that's gonna be a big.
You can use the
At one point, I think that's
Laguna,
ours.
Laguna
That's gonna be
Beach
a
is
big
doing
thing.
it successfully.
Yeah.
Laguna Beach is doing it successfully. We could use it as a model.
Look, Kimmy, here's the thing. Nobody wants it in their backyard. I get it. And there's a fight and everybody's like, I don't want one, I don't want one. Everyone, there's so many people say, I don't want one here. But by not having something, look at, we're dealing with this and the drop-offs and the more and no enforcement and so it's like it's a catch-22. It should be like, yes, we don't want one in our city, as
Right.
nobody does, but look at what you're dealing with.
Right.
And so if you're saying it would help, then I don't know how that looks, and I don't know how you get that done. Of course, nobody wants it, but that's
it
not
becomes to be simple.
reality.
Either we find shelter options, and if that's in San Juan Capistrano, partnering with them, or the county, that's great. But if we don't have a shelter option, then people just need to stop complaining. Because it's useless. Stop
I
posting
agree.
stuff on Facebook, because
I don't think
You
that
can't do
most
anything.
of those people on Nextdoor and Facebook, like I look and then I have to close it, because of that thing this morning and everybody's complaining and I'm like, okay, I honestly don't think residents, and that's why I'm thinking this from last night is going, they don't understand. And you can explain it in a post 1,000,000 times and they're not going to understand, but having something like, listen to this and maybe then you'll understand.
if we presented something to Sheriff Barnes, and Sheriff Barnes said, yes, if you do this, whatever that looks like,
Yeah.
we will enforce the end.
That's
Camping
what I
laws,
thought.
it'll cut down on vagrancy, and he was committed to that.
Yeah.
Maybe that presentation would
Yes.
resonate with
Yeah,
some
would
citizens.
get support.
Maybe.
Maybe, or
It's
I
the
can just say,
where.
not doing anything.
It's not working.
But Stuart's point that you have to have beds available,
Yeah,
then
that's
to
gonna
be able to enforce
enforce.
any of those laws, that would be a huge problem.
Yeah,
How
that's
many beds would we need to?
And we talked about like
40 would be
40.
wonderful.
40 is kind of the magic number. And if we had 40
40
beds,
would
we
be
wouldn't
pretty
have 40
awesome, yeah.
people to put in a Premier. They would get up and go and say, well, I'm
Wow.
not camping here tonight.
All right, can I interrupt for a minute? For one, I'd like to make a motion for us as Human Affairs to discuss this at our next meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Put that on there, because we can spend time on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for the project team that has the overall homeless strategies, I would expect a lot of those ideas to come from you guys. All right, because we have a team that's just doing
Could you
that.
say who that team is, just so I
The-
Stuart?
It's
Me,
project,
Michelle, and Angela.
Angela.
there you go.
Very good.
We have, they're project number 3. So
Stuart.
they'll help with a lot of those strategies,
Do you
but
have a second?
this is a very important topic. I think we should talk
Second.
about in our
I'll
next
second
meeting.
it. Sorry.
So,
All right, all in favor?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Great.
Can I ask a
All
real
right.
quick question?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's to you, Stuart, actually. I know you were working on like a safe space
Safe parking,
Has that gone anywhere?
it hasn't gone anywhere.
Okay.
No.
Well, that hasn't even been agendized for our, from what I know, for Human Affairs, so.
It was,
It's something.
Okay.
I was trying,
Go ahead.
sorry to interrupt, I was trying to get them to come do a presentation at this meeting, but I
Okay.
haven't heard back.
Okay.
And the fallback's gonna be the April 11 meeting, and I haven't heard back. So I'm guessing that John Louder's, out of town for a while. But there will be a presentation at some future Human Affairs Committee meeting.
Okay.
I would say this, Stuart, when you get the information back, write Janet, and Janet can send out to all of us members and get a tally of how many of us want to hear that brief, so that it's agendized and it comes out.
Oh, well,
Because-
last meeting, Lisa said, let's have a presentation.
Yeah,
Oh,
she-
those were the two special presentations.
Oh, is that what the one, is that the one?
It was
that
the
one I did this?
211 Orange County, and there was somebody else
Okay,
that
all
were
right. Go ahead.
scheduled for December. So do you want me to schedule them for the next meeting?
Who was it? 211 and who else?
Homeward Bound,
No, it was,
Wasn't it the safe parking guy or no?
Well, there were three,
Oh,
and safe parking.
it was Cindy from
same. Because I
Okay.
remember talking
the Noble
about-
Path Foundation.
Oh, that was
That's
it,
right.
yes.
What was it called?
Noble Path.
Is it the
Is
place
it-
on El Camino?
Is that the group you're talking about?
Yes,
Carly,
I know,
is
They're
this-
awesome.
Yeah,
Sure.
I
Carly,
know.
is the
That's
safe
That's a rad.
Yeah, we're super
parking?
excited. I know, they're amazing.
That's it.
I went in
Is
there.
the
the other day.
safe parking just for cars and motorhomes?
Yeah. I don't know. That's I don't. Yeah, that's. I think
Is
that's
it motor,
the
oh,
model.
so it would be
It's
motorhomes?
a vehicle.
I think it's just a
Parking.
vehicle.
No,
Though. I don't know if
parking
it's.
is,
I don't know if it's
Not
motorhome.
all the safe parking can accommodate motorhomes.
They don't accommodate.
Some do. I think most don't.
All right, so I'm gonna close
Yeah,
on
that's fine.
special presentations. We're gonna move on to unfinished
Thanks,
business.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you so much.
Carly, one last thing.
Yeah.
Do you have a list of resources that you can send people to for shelter or housing? Because you mentioned a bunch of names, I don't remember them all.
You want me to write up a list? Send to you guys, or do I have them just on me? I do have them
No,
just on
if
me.
if you have
The
one,
resources.
email me, that'd be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I can do that for sure.
Great, thank you so much.
All right, so I'm gonna move on. Project number one.
Okay.
Project number one, I know Lisa, don't, she's the chair. Stuart, I'm on there and you're on there. I think last meeting, she pretty much had a game plan and everything was going. So in the effort of keeping the meeting moving, there was groups that had to come back and give an update. One of them was mine, dealing with the mentorship, project number 4. But I'll go all down the list. If you have something you want to add or update, please do. Otherwise, just say nothing to add and we'll move to the next project. Is that
Yeah.
fair?
Thank you.
All right, so project
Thank you
number
so much,
1,
Carly.
Stuart, I don't know if you have any information, but I know I haven't talked to Lisa
I don't have.
otherwise than what she already had said. All right, so we'll move past project number 1. Project number 2, project number 2, resource registry.
Once again, I have,
Lisa's on
Lisa and
that.
I are working on that so we can divide up who to call to let's see, registry. Isn't that the resource fair, right?
The fair, I think, is the top one in town, all right? That's the fair.
Oh, the fair's top.
Yeah.
This is the
Well,
resource.
project number 2, there's probably no other update, but that was the next one.
Yeah, I got it.
I think you guys are good. No further update to us on that one, but I don't know.
I have a bit of an update.
Okay. Project number 3, overall homeless strategy. The chair is yourself.
Isn't that so?
And I think we kind of got it. I mean, you're working on getting us that brief for the safe parking, and we heard all this other stuff. I think we're pretty,
Was
unless you got something else to add.
was this where everyone was gonna go out and talk to some other
Yes,
cities?
that's what I was gonna update real quick.
Go, Michelle.
So, Aaron and I
18.
were going to meet with Howard, and now I'm ditching you because we're gonna be gone all next week. We're going away, so I come home on the 18th.
So I'll still meet with
you'll
Howard.
meet with Howard.
And send me
so Aaron
questions you may have.
Perfect. So I met with Dina Point. I have a friend that works for the city there, and so I don't want to say her position or name, but she's really high up. And then she brought somebody else, and I got tons of tips from them on what their, Tamara does, who's their homeless person. And so I'm meeting with Sean Joyce tomorrow to discuss with him, and then I'm going to ask to meet with the new city manager just to kind of share. But they had a joint city meeting specifically on homelessness. So everybody, it's everybody's obviously number one issue. They wanted to make sure, and it sounds like Carly registers through that HMIS thing. So that's good. And then they suggested a credit card for housing, but was taking just all those questions I was asking. So
That's why you had so many good questions.
that's why I had so many good questions. I was ready.
Did they say anything? I'm seeing Dana Point Harbor Security walking around. And they walk up to
Oh,
people
so that's
and say,
interesting.
you need to move on.
They do.
Okay,
So
can we do
the
that
struggle
here?
with Dana Point is, Dana Point is half the size, and yet we only have, my husband and I were looking at the numbers. We're twice the population, and geographically, I don't know, but way bigger. And then we only have like a third more revenue coming in. So they, they have big bucks, like we've always known. However, they have the same sheriffs. Their struggle is the beach, is Doheny, because it's state or county or whatever.
Okay.
So they don't get jurisdiction
Oh, my damn.
Right.
over it. So that is a struggle for them. They can control within the city, but they do various things. And I didn't ask Carly's thoughts, but I was going to suggest it to Sean. They do personal property storing, so they don't have all the garbage, for lack of a better word. That's what I call it. On the street and on the sidewalks and about town, and they are on it. Like as soon as they see like what looks to be like an encampment, they don't wait for Caltrans, to come and address it 3 months later when it's expanded 10 times. They text their team, and somebody is out and about, even if it's at night and the weekends. And so Sean addressed this last night, and it was like everything I was going to bring up to him tomorrow, he addressed. He said, we have no after hours coverage, and that's what Dana Point was saying. So my friend's like, yeah, I immediately text the sheriff, or I text the public works director, who texts the homeless outreach, and they go and they make contact with the person while the other person is storing all their personal property. So they're not throwing it away, they just have storage bins throughout the city. And I thought that was a really neat thing.
Where are they throughout the city? Where are they?
I don't know. I didn't ask that.
Ours has stores, ours is just same thing.
Yeah,
Where's our storage?
we do have a storage.
The
city yard.
Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
Well, then who's doing the gathering of personal
Code
property?
enforcement.
It's code enforcement and the park rangers.
Oh,
Yeah, they give
It's-
them a notice that there's something on,
Yeah, they'll hang a sign.
Within
Yeah.
24 hours later,
Yeah,
they come
they'll
and
come
take it.
back and get it.
okay.
So we do have that.
So they do it right then. They go up
Yeah.
like to say if there's a trash enclosure behind like a Del Taco, and they're like, hey, did you see this person? The other thing they're doing, and maybe you guys could advise us, like how often does say Carly and Code and Public Works and city manager meet to go to like just have like a team meeting and an update? Like, hey, did you see this new person down at the Palisada off ramp? Like those kind of things.
Yeah, they don't. There isn't that coordination now, but that was one of the recommendations
Okay,
from the
good.
presentation last night.
Actually,
good.
we started the bi-weekly meetings.
Good.
Oh, good.
Because that's
And
what
it'll be
Dana Point
next
every
is
week.
The first
Right.
one.
See, that's amazing.
And
Okay,
see
thank
that great
you.
information that they just said?
Yeah.
That's what I want on the tab when we click, if they had a meeting. Nothing formal. I don't care if
Totally.
it's like reading a text or
Totally.
reading an Instagram message.
Totally.
Just tell us what you're doing. You know?
Well, and for Carly, like to
Yeah.
give her kudos, like to get somebody in rehab when she probably
Yeah.
like sees so many no's in her day.
Right.
And not just from the public yelling at her,
Yeah.
but from the people saying, no, I don't want services, I'm good. And
Yeah.
it's like disheartening to her. So she should tout that,
Yeah.
from the mountaintops.
Without even saying
But
the
she
name.
doesn't
Hey,
wanna
I
have
got
to
another
take the
one in
time.
today, you know?
Yes, but that would be maybe the registry. But and so that's another thing they do. They have weekly meetings, and they all are on the same page. And it sounds like Sean promoting that, where they say, "Hey, has anybody checked in on this person?" So every new person that comes to town, like we have so many blind spots, and they are on it, and they know. And then they also patrol the hot spots.
That's right.
So, which is where we would say, hey, we need a team, which it seems like our new captain has been doing. We need a team down at North Beach, just to have that presence of somebody. So there was a lot
The
of.
sound hurt her. It didn't hurt.
Ouch!
It was
I
just
am
a
not a
sound.
knuckle cracker. That was the
It was
weirdest
just a
thing
sound. It didn't
ever.
hurt.
No, it didn't hurt. It just freaked me out. Oh, I hate that. But they're doing like just those little things. And then also just making their staff feel really good because of all the extra work. So I just want to make sure that I'm going to talk to Sean about that, but that doesn't come from us. But just like little, team building and like, thank you sheriffs and you guys. And like, do we do that? Can I ask you? Do we do like, do we give you guys donuts and coffee and like,
No.
no.
Nobody thinks.
Is
it's
there
all
like a
hard work.
coffee at least maker in this building that's free? But I'm serious, it's those little things.
There's a coffee maker, but you bring your own coffee.
What? See, it's those things.
Yeah.
Is it like the coffee with the pods, or is it?
It's the pods, yeah.
Bring
Well, it
your own
doesn't even
pods.
matter if you're bringing it yourself. Those are little things that we need to change
We
from
even
the
have an
top down.
espresso machine. You just bring your own espresso pods.
Sounds pretty
Well,
cool.
we're doing
Okay.
a Girl Scout cookie drive for the officers, so I'll make sure you guys get some boxes.
Well, Michelle, thank you for that.
Nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
You know.
I'd be interested in seeing your outline. You
Yeah.
had a lot of good stuff there.
It's I know a lot of it is like confidential,
No, I get it.
but that's why but that's what I really want. I mean, there's so many, and even just reaching out to a fellow city, like I mean, Yeah, so, okay.
Oh, you got a lot of information
I got-
from
it
the
was
Dana
so
Point. That
good.
is great.
I was so excited. I mean, they're like doing it right and they're on it and you could feel like,
You can tell they don't have the homeless population. we
well,
do.
but it's also different
Did you see
walking
that?
in, like,
Oh, absolutely.
I'll be
Yeah,
honest,
there's a
like you
big
walk into their
difference.
city hall,
Mhm.
I was greeted by 2 different people. There wasn't like bulletproof glass or whatever. Their police station it's the reverse of this. Not gonna make us remodel. Just saying the vibe, like I walked into the police station pretending I was lost just to see if I was greeted and that kind of stuff. Touche. And these 2 like ladies in uniform were like, "How can I help you?" I'm like, "Seriously?" And ours are upstairs with the, like, I'm just saying, it was a vibe of like top down. You know, we serve free coffee here for the people we appreciate. You know, working for
Mark Greer.
the
We
city.
need more people like that.
Yeah,
you know, we
it's
just
just
need more
yeah.
people just pushing forth just, the generosity and kindness
Mhm.
and,
But
great.
that has to come from the top down,
It
and
does,
so that comes from council to the city manager, which Sean gets it, to everybody else, because we can't expect everybody to be like, we're so happy to be here if we're not, being treated like it, like coffee.
Did they say, I know they have a big issue, because I have a friend that does a business down at the harbor, or at the Doheny. Big issue with the motorhomes coming in and parking all day
So,
with the
do you want to know what they do about it?
Yeah.
So the harbor, that's their issue, that because they can't control the state or the county or whatever.
They get
But this is the other big thing. I was so excited to tell Sean this idea. They do not allow, and Carly might not like that I'm saying this, but they do not allow RVs on any city street throughout Dana Point. No RVs, period, on a city street.
Wow.
So if you own
It's
an
like an
RV,
HOA.
You have to.
yes,
Like an
then you
HOA.
have to park it in your home or pay storage, which would
That's
be
why we're seeing them all.
so amazing for all the
That's why we're
neighbors
seeing them
because
here.
nobody wants to see your neighbor's RV. Like, good for you that you have that, but I can't. Anyway, nobody wants to see that. They should be parked in somebody's home, in my opinion. And on no city streets do they allow
It's
an
like
RV.
Low City has HO.
Yes, but that's how it should be. Oh, and here's the other thing. Oh my gosh.
That's fine.
They are, because everything is so like heavenly over there, they canceled their election and everybody's on kumbaya. Because of that, they have all this spare time. Guess what they're doing? You guys might kill me. They're going through their muni codes, municipal codes. They are reviewing them for yes, and cleaning them up. And if you heard Victor last night, he said about the state, and the state is cracking down, warfare on HOAs and cities trying to be, away from what the state's doing. So are we really, this is the right time to tighten up our muni codes?
Yeah.
But not only that, then what do we do with our muni codes? So is code, if say code or the police write a violation against a muni code, is that going to Matt Silver? And then is Matt Silver doing anything about it? And that's the chain of command. I just want to know what the end, is of that. They have a prosecutor who is actually dealing with all those muni code
Matt
violations.
Silver is our
Yeah.
prosecutor.
I know.
And he deals with
Yeah,
every prosecutable crime.
he does.
He
It
does.
falls apart in the
Great.
courts when the courts
Exactly.
dismiss a lot of
We
stuff.
have the best prosecutor in Orange County. Matt, there's nobody better than Matt
I
Silver.
know, that's what I
And the court
thought.
system would tell you that.
So they were saying in Dana Point that yes, like the court system would dismiss it, but they said their prosecutor is able to do stuff. And then at least it adds up to be, enough violations or something. But they are tightening up their muni codes as well and finding more relevance for today's issues.
If we wanted, what would we do if we wanted to change, and this may be just like a really novice question, to
A muni code?
say that we want a muni code that says no parking on any city streets?
We're doing it
Is
all,
that-
they
You are?
send it to the public, say, we've done the, putting your crap on the sidewalk.
They've
We've
gotten
done the-
so many, they've done so many.
We're gonna pass the panhandling ones, the ones in the
Panhandling.
city,
The shopping cart.
shopping carts.
Do you
the-
think
the
that
bike
could get
shop shops.
through, to say no
Motorhomes?
motorhomes on any city
street.
We
streets?
could pass a city ordinance that would say
That
that. It's whether they would, well,
It's
our
enforceable.
park rangers could
I'm
enforce
gonna
it.
have to move on to the next item.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, can we,
Right.
when you
I
move
mean-
on, can we kind of do 4 and 5 together? Because they're really all with the high school.
Mhm.
And to skip
Well,
above, I need help.
I know I'm going to you for the, to do the
4.
chair on number 4.
Mentorship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Aaron and I talked about this. I have a call in. I've made a couple calls to Dr. Nolan to see if I could, to explain what we're trying to do and say, can we get a meeting in with the counseling department? And I'm not getting any response.
Well, I talked with mine today, and they're planning on every 15 minutes in April, and I talked to him about the mentorship program, and he did say they are starting right now a whole new department that is counseling with this, and he was gonna go talk to the person, and he thought that they would love the
Well,
mentorship
sweet, you did my job for me.
So he's gonna.
I've gone nowhere.
I forgot to give her your
Yeah.
numbers, yeah.
He's in the process of pulling the grant. He's
Okay.
everything else done, and he knows when he wants to do it in April, and I'm like, but we need the money. So anyway, I will be
Okay.
calling him back in a couple days, but, what's her name? I don't want to say what's her name. Lauren from the Wellness Center, also, we're gonna have a meeting over how she's getting with the students, how they wanna do the whole every 15 minutes. And he said the mentorship would tie in with the resource, the counseling department, there's coming up with a whole new department.
Did he finally apply then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, here's and this is, I absolutely love it, and of course that's why I'm passionate about it and want to do it, but it seems like it would make more sense for you to be the chair of it. And because you're already doing all this, and I'm trying to get in, and it's a waste of resources where you've already got the answer to something that I wasn't even at step one for.
We'll talk when I get back with him this
Okay.
week, and then I'll call you.
Okay.
All right, so I just asked that the two chairs, if you do the
Yeah.
update, we'll send the update in, send it in to
Exactly.
Lisa.
Okay.
Just give her
Yeah,
what
once
we,
you have
because
that
you're still waiting on a
information,
call, and you're getting some more
Yeah.
information, just
Okay.
give her that latest update.
Okay,
So I think that's
perfect.
what she asked of us last time.
Mhm.
And then number 6,
Wait, and then real quick on Safe Rides,
I didn't have a number
it's
on it.
super bummer. They, because of COVID, and then they lost funding, and then Mission Hospital ended the entire program, which is why we were having so much trouble finding it. So I finally talked to the lady who's in charge of, it's like injury prevention or something like that through the hospital. And she was like, we had an amazing conversation. Like, she was like so sad. She's like, I did this for like 23 years, which is when I was in high school doing it, and up in my chapter, and we had a wonderful talk about it. And so she was like pretty bummed on it. She's like, you're bringing me like bad memories back. And I was like, so she was super bummed. So it's done, she said, in the wake of Uber and Lyft, which seems so weird to me that parents would send a drunk kid.
I would never send my kid
She's
in
like,
there.
I don't think the parents, I don't even know. She's like, the parents don't
The
know if
laws-
it's drunk or
The
something.
laws for Uber and Lyft is you have to be 18 years old to ride alone.
She
I
said
know
the
people do
parents
that all the time,
override
but they
it.
do it all the time.
That's
But
what she said.
Oh, they can do
She
that?
said the parents-
you
can't
get
afford it?
caught and a driver reports you, you can lose your account and never
Or
be
a
able to have an
drunk,
account.
a drunk girl with a,
Well,
Yeah.
you're just not supposed to have anybody under 18 riding, period. Like,
No, I know what you're getting at, yeah.
so
yeah, it's just dangerous.
So that's
Okay.
that's done.
So that's gone. We're, all right, so that is
Wow.
over.
Oh, but she does do. It was all the stuff I was texting to you. She does do a different program that's just more like kind of teaching teenagers like injury prevention. Don't drink and drive, the dangers of fentanyl, that kind of stuff. And they're going to, I think she had like St. Margaret, San Juan. So Rosemary's guy, she would like to maybe be in touch with him, and they're going to send him money for that.
All right.
All right.
Rosemary, last one, project number 6.
So that's, will happen in
That's-
April.
yeah.
Yeah, that's easy.
So that one was good last time.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it on that. So we're done with old business, unfinished business, new business, social service budget committee. Appoint 2 members to the committee to review the community development block grant, public service grant applications. Who was interested in that? I don't remember that.
I neither.
I hope so.
That's above my
All right,
head.
Rosemary,
No, I
you
don't know
can
what that
have
is.
it, okay. Who worked with you last time?
We, have Lisa do it. Lisa do it.
Okay, so she wasn't
Oh,
here, so I
Sherry-
voted.
Sherry
Oh,
did.
Sherry, that's
I
right.
have
Sherry
to say
Grace
no.
did
I
it.
have
Sherry
to- Oh,
Grace.
that's right. I just say no to that. I know my wheelhouse.
So right now we have you, and then which guy? That's Lisa.
Yeah, bless.
Okay,
You
well,
Or
that's
Aaron.
Huh?
want to do it?
No, I don't.
So if I could just,
What am I doing?
The meeting is coming up.
Okay,
Yeah.
when is it?
So the tentative date of the meeting would be February 23rd
Wait, what meeting? What are we talking about?
for the committee, the two members that you're appointing to
Right.
the committee.
I'm gone that day.
Yeah, so I don't know, it could be the 23rd, 24th. We have to just look at the schedule
23rd,
of the
24th
council
of
member.
February.
Yes.
I leave on the 22nd through like the 27th.
All right, maybe I will volunteer to work
So I
with it.
know I'm gonna be.
So we'll need kind of confirm two names.
Well, yeah, so
Ideally.
Rosemary and Aaron.
No, Lisa and Aaron. Rosemary said she's leaving.
Do two people have to be there or one?
Yeah, no, you have to.
Two.
Gotta have two?
Okay, wait, can I check my calendar then?
I'm available if you need somebody.
It's a whole day?
No, it's like a 2-hour meeting.
So there's probably 6 or 7 grant applications for
Right.
the CDBG, and then for the American Rescue Plan, I think there was probably 3.
Yeah, and then you decide who gets the grants.
Man, it would sure be nice to have somebody who's done this before, so you have that.
Well, if it's another date, I'll
I
do
mean,
it.
that's, I know Stewart said he would do it. Say again?
I think we need to stick with that week because it all has to go to council at a certain time.
anything.
Well, you need to sit down and tell me, what do you guys, what are you basing it upon when you look at, you're looking at, when you try to give them grants, what they're doing in their programs?
Right.
What energy they're
Right,
putting into it, look,
exactly.
they're hungry for it, they deserve it, look what they've done, I mean,
Right.
that I can do, you know, I
Yeah.
can
But
do
you can
that.
You and
prioritize
Stuart?
them
Yeah.
and
The criteria is laid out, you
Okay,
know.
Stuart, I'll do that with you.
Okay.
All right? Okay. So it'll be Aaron and Stuart.
You guys have to vote on that,
On what?
approving
Oh,
the
yeah,
two
yeah, okay.
members.
All right, somebody make a motion.
I motion that Aaron and I do it.
I second that.
That's funny.
We sound like we're voting for mayor and mayor pro tem.
Exactly, yeah. So,
All in favor?
Sorry, I was spaced out over
sorry, so
these.
we just chose two names.
Do you want me to vote for you?
Myself?
Sorry.
We just chose two names, myself and Stuart.
Yes.
And she said we gotta vote on it.
Aye.
I said, so I make a motion. Stuart said he makes a motion. I said, I
Okay.
second that. All in favor? Aye, unanimous.
Oh, somebody should abstain.
There's no block here right now.
So it's Stuart and Aaron.
Okay.
And it looks like the
So
week
good.
of the, I just told them,
Okay.
the week of
Oral
the
communications.
23rd.
We have already
done
We're gonna shoot
All right,
for that.
I put right here, I put a note for myself.
Okay.
Rick, you still have 3 minutes.
Thank you.
All right.
I think
Okay.
we
Yeah.
have
Still engaged?
We're gonna
I'll
close
double
oral
check that and then
communications.
April.
Communications from
Okay.
committee members and staff. I think we did a lot of that, just updating on our reports.
But when is our next meeting?
I'm getting ready to read
Oh,
that.
okay,
All
sorry.
right, because I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
All right, can I get a second?
Uh-huh.
All right, I'll read it. Adjourn to the next regular meeting of Human Affairs Committee to be held on April 11th, 2023 at 3:30 p.m. at San Clemente City Hall, first floor, community room located at 910 County Negotiate. Ooh, I said that right.
Okay, wait,
San
so
Clemente,
that was
California.
at 3:30, but this
Yeah,
one's at
they
3?
started earlier.
This seriously blows my mind. I can't. It's like, is it-
3:30.
I texted you, I was like, is it 3 or
April
3:30?
11th.
But why is it 3:30?
All in favor of
Yes.
adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
All right, I'll have that conversation with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, last time you were here, we said, hey, we're gonna